All right, welcome to Working Group API Expression. It's the 1st of September, 2020, and we have one agenda item, and I think, Antoine, you edited namespace in the OpenAPI.
Yes, but Martin is going to talk about it.
Okay.
If he wants to.
Sorry, did you mention me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is something. So I'm working on Capital, that open source tool like Google, and we run into this quite often. That we want to know if it's largely based around the Open API, and we often run into the situation where we need to know if by just looking at a manifest and with the Open API schema, we want to know, is this resource namespace or not? Just things like being able to add a namespace to a resource, to all resources, if they are namespaced. Currently, that's actually hard since we sort of need to talk to the cluster to know this. And if you had a chance to actually look this up from the Open API schema, that would be pretty useful.
I honestly already expected that to be in there, so I'm surprised it's not. Yeah, that's where does that information currently come from? I think it's part of the type. No, where do we define that right now? Does somebody know?
So
I was expecting it to be in the. Oh, go ahead.
So as far as I know, the only way we can find that now is by using the Discovery client and actually look it up. But yeah, there's nothing in the namespace or in the Open API for this.
Yeah, the only thought I had was I would expect the URL to kind of implicitly hint at the namespacing, but I haven't looked recently. And even that's not great because you have to kind of know the convention for the URL structure.
Where does the information currently come from if a resource is namespaced or not, like on the internal side?
Yeah, that's a good question, but I think it's mostly coming from Discovery. I'm curious what happens if one specifies the namespace on an object that is not namespaced. Do you know, Martin?
I'm not sure. My guess is that it just gets dropped, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, that in itself is pretty bad.
I mean, can you even, like, if you specified, you have to specify it as part of the URL, right? And that should give you an error because you're trying an endpoint that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that was my point, is the Open API does have the URL, so you can kind of figure it out from that, but it's not like there's an easy, like, you know, field to check to see if it's namespace. You have to kind of know the structure of the URL.
Yeah, I've suggested that to Martin already. But my concern is, what if you send an object that is cluster-wide, cluster-scoped, and it has the namespace? So obviously you don't include it in the path. But what if it's included in the object? What if you're trying to build a auto-completion tool? Is it going to suggest that you specify the namespace in the object? I think in general, we shouldn't even have the namespace field in metadata for non-namespaced objects. And it shouldn't be present in the OpenAPI at all. Like we should be able to look at the object and see, oh, this one doesn't have the namespace. It's not namespaced.
Yeah, that would be a superior typing to what we have today, I think. And I'm not even sure. I would love somebody to just go and check really quick, but probably not blocking for this meeting, but to see if we even do the right thing, if we even like emit an error back if you include it.
Yeah. Let's see what we can. Let's see if we can find an easy way to remove it from the OpenAPI somehow.
What do you mean by removing it from the OpenAPI? I thought it's not in there right now.
I think what Antoine, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like make it so that the schema for types that are not namespaced does not have any type field information for namespace field in the meta.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So okay. So that basically, what was it? That they use a different metadata, or that they, at least in the Open API spec, they don't show the object meta here that's got used everywhere.
Yeah, we'd have to, obviously there's going to be wrinkles in this because I think right now we use a shared type and we just reference it. And so now we would no longer be able to reference a single type, or we'd have to find some other creative alternative. There are alternatives here. Somebody'd have to kind of like go through them and figure out like what is the least gross way to fix this.
We also have to stay compatible, and I know that Protobuf doesn't make it easy. Like because we could have object meta, and then namespace object meta, one embedding the other. But I think it's gonna fail because of Protobuf.
Right.
Yeah. And embedding in JSON also doesn't always work great.
Yeah, actually changing the Kubernetes types formally across the system is a bigger and scary change. Like I'm pretty intimidated by that. Not doing that would mean that you kind of have to like mask over the fact that like they're actually the same type in OpenAPI somehow, and that's also a little weird. So unfortunately, I don't see a really easy way to tackle this, but I'd still love to see somebody like look through the alternatives and see which one is at least the least gross.
Yeah, I'm still interested in where we have types Go that's being generated into Pro and OpenAPI, but I'm still not sure where this flag, this is a namespace type and this is not a namespace type, where this is actually available instead.
Yeah, we can find that. There's somewhere in the native types there's some bit that gets flipped. It has to exist, so we'll definitely be able to find it. I don't know like how like we'll be able to. I don't know like what the code layout means for like being able to like make use of that bit easily in different places like OpenAPI, but it has to exist.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's I think sending out even like a half-page thing. It says like these are the viable options in the design space, even ones that we know we don't like. With like you can even put like fine print there like I don't think this is an acceptable solution, but these are the only options we have, and then we could people on this call or other people that are interested could go in and kind of weigh in on like other details and thoughts, because I think there's some little deep thinking has to go in here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, it would also, if we had the information, it would also make it easier to put it somewhere in documentation, like this resource is namespace. I don't know if that's I didn't see it once right now.
Yeah, I mean, even if we had to like one option I'd like to see considered in the variants is like, should we just do like an x-Kubernetes OpenAPI thing that at least tells you what's going on? if you care. That's obviously a lot less clean than Anton's suggestion of actually fixing the type system, which would be amazing. But kind of like figuring out what the options are and then figuring out how tractable those different things are and what level of effort they would take.
Okay. Is there anything else we need for this, or what, how do we want to continue in that?
Is there anybody willing to own doing a really short summary?
I'm already typing out law.
Hey, Martin, are you still here?
Yeah.
I want to know how important it is.
I think for what we're working on, regardless of what we do in upstream Kubernetes, we probably want to try something like the path of the operation in the OpenAPI and work around this. So I think we'll find some solution to this regardless, but obviously longer term fixing it upstream would be much better.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like we have at least a couple of workarounds, so it's not the most important right now. But I agree, it'd be nice if we could fix it.
Yeah, so we'll keep tracking it. It would be fine to open an issue too if anybody doesn't have time to do more than that.
Yes. Maybe there's one. There is an issue in customize. We don't have one in Kubernetes, and there's already an item in the list below.
Okay.
Okay. So does somebody want to own it or push it, or should we set it on help needed, add it to the board?
Yeah, I would say help needed in backlog, and then unless somebody else has step up.
Yeah, it's already in MISC, and I've already put it as help needed.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm gonna put a link to the notes.
all right. Does somebody else have something for the agenda, or should we continue with the status update?
Yeah, we can move on.
Right. So we're still in making SSA great for controllers. We have zero value normalization. I haven't seen that one before, I think. Oh yeah, that's in the document. Anton, do you want to talk about that?
Wait, where are you?
Zero value normalization.
No, that's early.
All
yeah,
right.
no, that's early. I want Stefan to look at it. I mean, if you want to look at it and you have an opinion, I'm happy to have your opinion, but it's not ready to. Okay. I'm not ready to talk about it.
All right. Built-in declarative defaults. Can you?
This is. I'm working on this, and yeah, but it's no good.
Okay.
It's no good because we need to solve the normalization before.
Okay, that's confirmed. Okay. Before
yeah.
It's a chain of events, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everything is related.
Yeah, and it depends on each other. Great.
Yeah, before you pick an apple pie, you first must create the universe, right?
Yeah. And first it was like, yeah, for status wiping, I figured out how to fix custom resources. That works now. I have one remaining issue with custom resource definitions because the current tests by conflict and CRD status gets changed behind the scenes, which causes a conflict in the test. So I had to ignore it from the test for now until I find a better way to test it. But in general, all types have implemented, or all types of caused conflict so far have implemented status wiping and ignored fields. And what's remaining now is fixing tests and adding the pod util stuff and so on. So if you want to look at it, feel free, especially about the CRD tests. I'm still not sure what to do about it. And yeah.
Got my priority for that.
There's still a lot of to-dos for me in the PR, but the general stuff is done.
Great. I need to look at that. I'll bump it.
Yeah, I hope I didn't make too many copy-paste messed up errors. I didn't see anything while looking above it again and again, but be prepared. Next one is API clients.
Yeah, so this is moving along. We're Jenny and I spent some time prototyping late last week. We're going to spend some more time this week. There was an interesting thought from Justin Santa Barbara that I liked, which was if we did it right, we might actually be able to have the same interface for the generated Go types that we use normally and the ones that we need to use to build manifests. That was a comment in the design that I'll respond to today that has some corner cases to think through. But yeah, we're making a little bit of progress. Currently, the goal is to work in a kube builder feature branch, then use that as a way to get feedback from a community, the kube builder community here in this case, on the usability of whatever we prototype, and then kind of work our way towards core from there.
All right, sounds cool.
Yep, that's it.
Tombstoning you as well?
This one I haven't made real progress on since we last talked because I got pulled away on a couple other things, but I am trying super hard to get pulled back to this week. I really want to get a example of how this might look if we put the tombstones into the field set and a couple other things. So hopefully I'll have an update next time.
All right. Create a plan for exactly the fields. Still the issue. I don't know if there was new comments. No. I don't know if it really is or should be on our up here right now. If you really want to work on it right now, it's part of our sprint, or if it's just a discussion.
Yeah, to work on this. I know Daniel has other orthogonal ideas related to that. I'll see if we can find someone.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, I haven't heard from Tim and Mike for a while. So I don't know when.
Yeah,
are we okay?
Topology, we have still a few open issues, but no PRs. Then the basic stuff, structural schema. Is Jenny here? Is there anything new? Does somebody know something?
I don't have any update on that one from her. Okay. I don't think that's been a focus right now.
Okay. This one should be merged now that the repo is open again. I hope. No.
Yeah, I think they are merging PRs in batches. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was quite a elaborate return to normal process going on for the main master branch.
Okay.
Don't you need a milestone for 120?
We will. Yes.
Yeah, we still don't work for API says. Cost like doesn't mean empty. Was that related to something above? I keep asking this every time, I think. Joe?
Oh, sorry about that. Which one are we looking at? Yes. So we have continued to make progress on this. I have a prototype that does a fix-up pass, so that we deal with the corner case of what happens when you add one of these annotations to a type that didn't have it before and you have a bunch of data in the old format. It seems to work. I wanted to cover the reverse case of when you go to turn atomic back off again, which is actually a little trickier because it's kind of harder to identify that that's happened. So I'm going to try and get that sorted out. And I do actually need to write a little mini design on this because I think there's enough alternatives that everybody's going to see that. So we'll probably have that out later this week. But yeah, this is actually one of the things I've been working the most on recently.
Okay, great. OpenAPI doesn't include the scope. Oh, that's the one we just talked about. Okay. No change applies still persists. I haven't seen that one before.
No, that's me. I did that. You can open the issue if you want. It's kind of a mess bag. We have a problem with quantities because they're canonicalized. And because they're canonicalized later in the process, we can't detect if it's an actual change or not. Like if you specify 0.5 as an integer as a number, and then it's going to be canonicalized into a string, so they're different. So you can see a different, you can see a change in the ownership. But even if you specify a string, the string might change because it's going to be 500 millis or something like this. So the string is changed by the API server later in the process, so we can't detect if it's changed or not. So we're always updating the date, which is then triggering an entity write of the resource, even if nothing has changed. It's also bad for it's bad for many reasons. It's we also have a bug that quantities are of type string rather than types inter string. So it also fails if you put it as an integer rather than a string, which is also a bad bug. But ideally, we would know that the thing is going to be canonicalized so that we can canonicalize ourselves and avoid the different conflict and everything. And we could also know that it's inter string. So I suspect one more time we're going to need a specific flag in the OpenAPI to say this is a quantity. You need to canonicalize that. Yeah, but so I mean, no one's working on that. If you have the problem, you can probably use a string instead, which is not backwards compatible, but it's the workaround. To be honest, the change would happen. Yeah, that's a good question. Like if you're using client-side apply, the kubectl is going to detect a change and send a patch to update the value. The only difference is that it's going to be canonicalized, and then the API server is going to see that there is no difference, and it's not going to update in etcd.
Okay, so we only cause more etcd updates.
Anyways,
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and it's confusing because in the diff you see an update in the time of the apply. So you never have like a clean diff, like even if you're not changing anything, you never have a clean diff.
Mm.
And also you can have irrelevant conflicts. Like because maybe you're going to conflict with someone because it believes you tried to change that even if you didn't.
Yeah, I guess that would be a bigger problem currently. Conflicts that you shouldn't have, and you also don't want to force necessarily. Okay. Is it something we should look at soon, or is it just ugly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
It's a bug, but it has the backwards compatibility issue, and it has the extra conflicts and the bad diff and the etcd update. I mean, that's enough to make it somewhat important.
Mm-hmm. But it would we would have a help me or somebody needs to look at it or do it. You're not working on it directly.
I'll probably look at it because it's very close to what I'm doing these days anyway.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Backward incompatible namespace webhook. Nodo is on it. I don't know what it's about.
Let me see.
Yeah, this is about in server-side apply. We
set
the namespace when we apply a namespace in the namespace resource, and that broke open policy agent. So I am working on it. I was able to reproduce it, and I just need a bit of time to dig a little bit in the code and see how to fix it. That should be okay.
Oh, so we're setting namespace on namespaces.
That's right. Yeah.
Nested namespace would be something I wouldn't mind. Not this way. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the problem is that it's also breaking the client side, so it's incompatible with the client side apply. So it's different in behavior.
Okay. Quantity fails type checking. Is that related to the inter string stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's the same issue, isn't it?
It's a different one.
Okay.
We have two different issues. One for the failure to apply and one for the bad diff.
I'll move them closer together. Okay. Yeah, we have this from last week that we want to investigate the current validation code and find opportunities to define some validation in the schema or make it expose it in the schema. And we still need somebody to look at it once we want to do it or when we want to do it. And yeah, Anton, I'm not getting any new input from Lucky. I don't even know how to say. I pinged him and said I'd put him some stuff, and if you want to do a meeting, but I'm not getting anything. So I would expect the steering people to get towards us if they need more from us. And the rest is our backlog, and I don't think we have anything that happened down here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I talked to Julian. Julian still has some time to work on things, so I suggested maybe work some tracking service first. He's already looked at it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I'll continue with the standard wiping and hope that's done soon, and I can do something else, which I'm looking forward to.
If you want to do something else a little bit too, let me know. We can probably find something more fun to do at the same time.
Yeah,
Depending on how much time you have.
That's more the problem, yeah. Right now, so my weekends were standard wiping, or my Saturdays, and that's almost all the time I had. So I'm checking in once I have something.
Okay.
All right. Then thanks for coming, and have a great remaining day.
See ya.
Oh, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.